So this review starts on a low note because the lens I'm showing here today is already out of production just a few months after its launch date. There's only one single batch of these lenses out there, and there was a design error in the mount that is super easy to fix, but we don't know currently if TT Artisan is going to do that and going to make more of these lenses. It would be a great loss though, cause the lens is totally unique for the Leica Thread Mount world, and it is also very good. So come with me now and find out more about the brand new, in 2023, Leica Thread Mount lens that maybe is too good to be true. Okay guys, this time I'm really excited. Look at this. This is the brand new TT Artisan 28mm f5.6 lens for Leica Thread Mount for all the old rangefinder cameras from Canon or Leica or Sony or FET or whatever else. A brand new lens. My name is Thomas and I'm super thrilled to try out this new lens. So let's have a go. So this lens is big news for Leica Thread Mount owners, but the lens itself is already on the market because this is just a different version of the TT Artisan 28 f5.6 for the Leica M mount. And I think that lens was released like maybe 2 years ago or something. Got pretty good reviews. And I'm not going to shoot this on a digital camera. This lens is made for thread mount cameras. If you have a digital camera, it doesn't make sense to buy a lens like that. That's maybe obvious. So I've got some Fuji Acros 100 in this, a very fine-grained ISO 100 black and white film. I hope I can show you also the sharpness and the details, but yeah, we know that the lens itself is pretty good already. Disclaimer, so TT Artisan sent this lens to me so I can do this review, and this will be a long review because I'm shooting it a lot and you will see a lot of sample photos in this video, for example. I aim for 1.5 meters. Can I do it? How far am I? As you can see, this lens is positively tiny. Yeah, it's just a 5.6. That has two advantages. Number one, it is that tiny, but still has a good optical quality, which I assume. And number two, the coupling to the rangefinder is not that much of an issue. You're never going to shoot this at full aperture. Well, full aperture is 5.6. Nothing can go wrong with focusing. And that's a good thing because, you know, all these old Leica thread mount cameras, the Leicas tend to be pretty precise in focusing, but all these Soviet Union era copy cameras that have a very mixed type of condition today, it's very unlikely you'll ever run into any focusing trouble with this one. And that's of course good for TT Artisan because then no one blames it on the lens when it maybe is just the old camera. The optics, by the way, are pretty modern. So it looks a little bit like a copy of a 1950s Leica lens in terms of barrel design, but the optics are a modern calculation, which is very cool, and which means it's got a good optical quality. Well, it's got this typical Leica thread mount focusing tab that locks at infinity, and then you press this button, and then that's how you focus. Focuses to 1 meter. That's of course a disaster for a 28mm lens, but that's again like a thread mount. It works like that. The rangefinder coupling works to 1 meter, so that's what you get. No close focusing. Aperturing has clicks at every full stop. Overall, the lens feels perfectly made. It's made from brass, but the aperturing is a little bit. The click stops could have been feeling even a bit nicer. But that's my only complaint. Takes 37mm filters, nothing special there. Small filter size, again, very cool. And yeah, it's just a thread mount lens. And as you know, unmounting takes some time with thread mounts. So here you see nothing special going on here. If you notice, I'm shooting a 28mm lens with this camera, but I'm not having a 28mm viewfinder on it. So you have to purchase an external viewfinder. I actually ordered one, but it didn't arrive in time for this review. If you don't have a viewfinder 28mm, you can just use your phone. There are viewfinder apps for it. And then, yeah, you can just have a look and think what you want to shoot and then point at the same direction and take the photo. That's, of course, not perfect, but yeah, a good workaround. So here is the camera with a viewfinder. This is the 28mm viewfinder from TT Artisan. You can use any viewfinder. It doesn't need to be the one from TT Artisan. It could be a vintage one, a modern one. Doesn't matter, but it has to be for 28mm. And remember, there is no Leica Thread Mount camera that comes with a built-in 28mm viewfinder, so you're gonna need one. The TT Artisan viewfinder, this one, it has a pretty big viewfinder image, so it's big, clear, and sharp. It does not have frame lines, though. I'm sure there are some viewfinders that even offer frame lines, but yeah. On the other hand, this retails for 50 euros or dollars roundabout, so it's kind of affordable and it does offer a nice quality overall, so I can recommend that one. It's actually a really cool kind of snapshot lens because, yeah, 5.6. I mean, in this weather, you're shooting ISO 100, f8 or even f11, a hundredth of a second. And the landscape type of shot, you just put it on infinity, point and shoot. So that's super easy to use this lens. And that's something that I really, really like about it. Actually, the rangefinder, yeah, you really don't use it that often because at f8 and 28mm, and I'm standing here taking a picture of that, I reckon it's 3 meters. That will be sufficient. Maybe I should wind. Super easy. Now I can see how tiny this lens is, and for being so tiny it actually feels pretty hefty. That's again because it's made from brass, not aluminium, and it comes with 2 beautiful lens caps. A push-on lens cap for the front, filled with linen and black tape, just fantastically made, and a screw-on metal lens cap for the rear. Screwing on M39 is always a chore. Just looks gorgeous, I have to say. One thing, by the way, that I don't like that much is you see this plate here with the engravings for the depth of field. And the diameter of this plate is bigger than it is on other Leica Thread Mount lenses. And that means that it kind of, sticks out here. There's no issue with that, but it just doesn't look perfect. I assume this is because the lens is based on the M-mount version and they might have a bigger diameter here. But yeah, a plate that is a little bit smaller in diameter would just make this lens even more perfect for like a thread mount camera. all would be well, but there is a small problem that I have to mention, and that is that the first batch of these lenses, and this is one of the first lenses from TT Artisan, they don't work perfectly because there is a small issue with the rangefinder coupling and the rear of the lens mount. So I reached out to TT Artisan. The problem in my case was that the rangefinder would only couple between like 2 or 3 meters to infinity, and if you focus closer, then the rangefinder wouldn't indicate that anymore. So I reached out to TT Artisan, and they said they are now aware of the problem, and if you've got a lens like that that doesn't work perfectly, just contact TT Artisan. They say they're going to solve the issue, and the future releases of this lens will already be a little bit modified. So yeah. So I have to tell you that this lens has a small issue with the rangefinder. For me, it doesn't matter so much because, again, at a 5.6, I can also do scale focusing a lot. I don't even use the rangefinder. But of course, a new lens should just work as advertised. So be aware. One good thing about this lens is pretty low distortion. I reckon when you do the scanning and then you open the file in Lightroom, you can dial in like maybe +3 or something. It's really minimal, but this is analog photography, so it's good that the lens has a low distortion because normally you cannot correct for it, right? Time for the verdict. Actually, it's a short one. I love this lens. Of course I love it. I love the idea of new Leica Thread Mount lenses, as I said already in a video a year ago, and now they make it. Of course I love it. I also love that it's 28mm lens, because that's a focal length that you don't get in Leica Thread Mount. I mean, there is a lot of vintage glass out there, but most of it starts at 35, then you got a bunch of 50mm lenses, huge options, 85, 100, whatever, but not 28. That's pretty rare. So that's also good. And it's got splendid optics, fantastic for analog film. The thing I don't like, of course, is that there is an issue with the lens mount, but TT Artisan is going to sort this out. And again, if you have a lens that has a problem, you experience a problem, then just contact TT Artisan. They told me they're really aware of the problem and they're going to take care of it. I love that the lens is so beautifully made. Brass and everything, it really fits even a Leica camera pretty well. There is just a lot to like here if you're in the market for this. This is a niche market and this is a niche product. Do not buy this lens if you want to shoot it on a Sony digital camera. There's a million better alternatives out there. But if you have a Leica Thread Mount camera, and again, it doesn't matter if it's a Soviet one, a Japanese one, or a German one, then this lens just might be for you. So that's my verdict. That's it for today. I hope you found this interesting, maybe even useful. If you've got any questions or comments, write something in the comment section below. I love to read all your comments. I will happily answer every single one of them. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. It's huge support for my channel. I really, really appreciate it. So have a great time, live long and prosper, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.